Yes, now we're recording for week 10. Okay, Max MSP. We already downloaded and installed. We don't need a tutorial on how to do that. So I have a new patcher window. This is a Max patch. And then we were talking about the fact that you have objects and messages and comments and toggles and buttons and all these fun little things, numbers and sliders. Sliders are super fun, right? Sliders, it's great fun. And we're talking about UDP. We're talking about network protocols. So by using a new object, I typed in UDP and I saw that there was some UDP objects. So first I'm going to send on my own computer. I'm not sending it to you guys. I'm sending it to myself. Localhost, my own computer. And then I'm choosing a port. This is arbitrary. Your computer has thousands of ports. They often are used by software who are using specific ports to ping home, to check out your authorization and all that kind of stuff. And you can actually look at your network ports, and it's actually really fun as like a data visualization. So I'm going to have a number box here. Then I'm going to send, and I'm also going to receive it here. Okay, so we're going to do UDP receive. All right, and we make sure the ports correspond. And then I have a little message box, and if I put it in the back side, it just is like kind of a dump of whatever information. It's like a console that just kicks out information. So hypothetically, if I move this number box, it will give a message to this other object. Okay, but that's not really convincing you of anything, right? This is like in the same software, on the same computer. This might be the same thing as doing, any other kind of, inside of Max, there's also just a thing called a send that we could just do it locally, and it's not going over the network whatsoever. Send, receive. IE. We'll see. I knew it. There we go. So I haven't proven to you that this is networking at all. So what I'm going to do to prove to you that I'm going to go over the network is we're going to make a very quick app for our phone. Okay? Together. There is a program that's like $6, and I highly recommend doing. Okay, first of all, backtracking a little bit, and I'll get this on documentation. What we're doing with OSC is like the Hogwarts part of ITP. This is where it gets magical, and this is what's so much fun to have all this wireless connectivity. This is like the Internet of Things. This is where it gets special. There's an app for your Android or iOS called Touch OSC, and I use it for every installation I have. Everything is always triggered from my phone on my own private network. It's the way to start and stop your installations, and hopefully you guys can do this as well for your projects. It's going to be hands-free and not on your computer all the time. It has a bunch of interfaces that look like DJ tools, and you could totally use it to interface with most of your software. And we're going to make, it is an app that makes other apps. And it has its own software. And you don't have to do this part with me, but we are going to do Max patching together a little bit later. So it has its own editing software. Down here, you can get it for Windows and Mac, and it gives you an interface. So I already have it installed. This is the interface. So TouchOSC has more of these boxes and lines and buttons and all that kind of stuff. So I want to make it for, I think I have a 6S, so it gives me a little more screen room. And then I just right-click or two-finger tap or whatever, and I have all these options. So I want to have a push button and a horizontal slider, let's see, fader. It's called fader. Horizontal, H for horizontal. Boom. So I can lay them out anyway, and you guys know that I am not I don't make things look nice, but so this software is super easy and also super limited in what it can do. For instance, that is the amount of colors I can use. You're not going to make, there's no color wheel. If you want to have beautiful software that does the same thing, it's called Lemur, but it's $50. This will be fine. It's functional. It's not gonna. We're not gonna be selling this anywhere. Let's go gray. Yeah, that's really nice. So this is a button and this is a slider. Then I also maybe want to have labels so they know what they are. So let's do right click and say label. All right, and that looks really ugly too by default. Let's see. No offense to the guy who made it. He and I should make a design company together. There we go. This is label called label 1. And we'll call this one Go. There we go. I'm going to see if I can copy and paste this stuff. I can. And this is going to be called Stop. And this is, I don't need a label for it. Okay. So I was talking about OSC and UDP kind of interchangeably, but they are a network protocol, meaning that they are on like a URL. So that's kind of like what this is. You see this kind of says, this means like page 1 and fader 1, sending data on there. So I need to parse that data the same way over there. I'm going to make this a little bit more simple, and I'm not going to use the automatic. I'm going to make my own custom stuff. So this is /first. Always do /first for this stuff. I'm calling this numbers. Great. And it's numbers from 0 to 1. That's fine. Go. And no, I didn't select the text. I'm selecting the button. It's going to be called /go. Okay. And then this button underneath stop is going to be called stop. Yeah, /stop. There we go. I am making art. Okay, so let me real quickly get my phone up in here. Up in here. Where's my air server? Oh, there it is. Scan QR code. Boink. I'm on NYU. And I am on NYU. One more time. Yay! This is also like a really cool app, this air server stuff. And there's my phone. And here's TouchOSC. All right. You can see this is some of my other handiwork when I have a lot of time. Hang out. That's how nice it looks. All right. I am going to connect. I don't have to do this part, but it seems to work better if I do. I'm going to connect my phone to my computer. Oh, I need to save this real quick. I'm going to give it a name. Oh, yay, music. Thank you. There's Jed. Sure, Jed. Yeah, if I get like, just ignore anything that like is super inappropriate. I'm not going to filter it. You guys are adults, but it's going to be really inappropriate. This is called Worlds on a Wire class. Wow. All right. So now let's sync it. All right. So hit the sync button. All right. So it says make sure you're on the same network. Then go to my TouchOSC layout. Okay. And then we're going to go to my layouts. We're going to add one. Come on, phone. Maybe I need to close it first. Let's crash. Let's go back. There we go. Oh, no, I don't need that one. I need TouchOSC. There we go. Try again. On the same network. Well, great. That's what normally works. And since it doesn't work today, I'm not going to worry about it too much because it's like any good cooking show, I already have one. Oh. So anyway, I see if I can open up this so you can see what. Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't even really care what it's sending. We're just gonna read the internet's mind right now in Max. So I'm gonna back to my app. I need to find the IP of my computer, holding down Alt and hitting the little Wi-Fi thing. There's all the diagnostic information for my network, and inside my app, you can see there side by side. I'm going to put this as my OSC connections. 172.16.244.248. Almost seems like I've done this before today. All right. So I haven't even done the router yet. I can actually do this over NYU. Yeah, I'll be doing that in a second. But for right now, just a proof of concept that UDP. This is a very long proof of concept that UDP is a network protocol. So I am going to now do a new UDP object, receive, and then I need to choose a port. See which port am I sending on? I am sending on 8001. You see that, guys? 8001. So UDP receive on 8001. All right. Messages. We're just going to read the messages. Go back to my phone. I just arbitrary. It just has to match. That's all. Hmm? I forgot about the fan being connected, so that's just like funny.
What if you use the slider?
That's called Fred. Now I have numbers there. Cool. It's not. This is later. Yeah, this is later. This is not adjustable speed. I forgot that this patch was doing that. Okay, great. So I've now proven that OSC and UDP are network protocols. We've gone over a Wi-Fi network. We've gone over the NYU network, which is like, I can't believe that even works. But it does. So that is super cool. And now I hope everyone else has had a chance to open up Max. And I want to show you guys a fun thing. I think my router is called... Are you at turned on? 1 second. There we go. Switch. All right. So Max makes it makes a lot, like people use it in NIME all the time. It makes this crazy bleeps and bloops and all that kind of stuff. It it uses things like sine waves and sawtooth waves and square waves to make a sound. So if I was to say a triangle wave, which is just like this is like the shape of the waveform itself, triangle, and then I connected it to a, let's see, new object. We're going to call it a digital to audio converter. We're going to call it EZ digital to audio converter. Oh, it looks like a speaker. Okay, so we have some sound out. That sounds cool. I am going to do a volume control. Let's see if there's like a thing called volume. There is, but I want to use something else. Let's actually look in the help file. There's a little tab here. I'm going to the help file. Actually, I'm going to save first in case something crashes, because it's Max. And here we are. And this is called music. Okay. So going to the help file, and oftentimes you can steal things from the help file. Ah, there's what I want. I want a volume slider. That's cool. Great. Copied it and pasted it in. Fantastic. Connecting the little dots, connecting the dots, all data flow. We have a left speaker, a right speaker, and then, oops, this is an empty object. We want to go here. Great. And then we want to give it maybe an initial value. Hertz is it's like the wavelength of sound. So we wanted to do like 80 is super big, like would take one wave would like take up this entire room. Have you guys been to Oh man, I'll have to come up with it later. Lamont Young's Dream House. It's on. It's down in underneath. It's down Tribeca, pretty much. Dream House is like done by this guy named Lamont Young, who's a sound engineer and musician, the '60s and '70s. And the room is these giant speakers in every corner, and it's a standing wave. That is, the waveform is exactly the distance between the walls, so it bounces off, and it completely is. If you could actually see it, it'd be physical, but you can walk around a waveform. This is like a thing that's been around for like 30 years. Go to the Dream House, hang out, take off your shoes. It's all like purple in there, and then it's a standing wave. The idea that the wave doesn't like bounce all over the place. It would be consistent. We're gonna give this a value of like 100, and then let's turn it on, and let's see if we have some volume. All right. I want to change it around. Let's do some of those number boxes and see if we can override that. All right. Cool. And then I'm going to give this sound a message of 1. Sorry, I have to unlock it. A message of 1. Let's see if I can turn this on this way. Yeah, cool. And let's give it a message of 0. And let's see if we can turn it off that way. Cool. Off and on. So what I want to do, I think, is connect this red button to off and on, and my slider to my sawtooth. Okay? So I'm going to UDP receive, and I have 2 addresses. I have Fred and Bill, actually. I need to separate them out. I want to route them in different directions, and yes, the object is going to be called route. I'm going to type in a new object and type in route, and I want to route Fred one way and Bill the other way. All right, going in there, and literally if I hover over it now, it says it will output if it matches Fred. Oh, thanks for adjusting for me and telling me exactly what you're doing. This will output here if it matches Bill. That's fantastic. And it will not include the names Fred and Bill anymore. Watch it. No, I'm going to turn that patch off. Okay. So now, is it Fred? What are we getting? Let's keep that one up there. I'll make another one. If I hold down Alt and click, I can drag. I can make a copy. Okay. So now we have. Oh, it's Bill. Okay. So that's Bill, and then this would be Fred then. Okay. From 0 to 1 on Fred, and I'm going to put this up in here, and then this on-off for Bill is going to turn these off and on. Okay? We'll quickly take a look at Bill. 1 and 0. When I'm holding down, it's on, and when it turns off, it's 0. So let's see if that works for me, just going directly in. No? It doesn't take floats. Okay, that's fine. We'll just convert real quick to an integer. Does that work? There we go. All right, so when I'm holding it down, it's on, and when I take my finger off, it's off. Okay? We don't need this stuff anymore. This is the simplest way I could do this. All right? And then we want these numbers to kind of drive this. But this is only went from 0 to 1, and we saw that it took at least like up to 50 hertz to even be able to hear it, right? So we're going to scale, and max scaling is called scale. So we're going to scale from 0 and 1 are my initial values, and I want that now to be like 80 to like, I don't even know. Let's do, hey Phil, hey Daniel, no, let's do like 3,000. All right. So this number is going to come out of here, go into there. Let's rearrange this a little bit so it makes a little more sense. Get out of there. We don't need you anymore. And then it's going to go straight into this triangle. So when I turn it on, 3,000 is a little much. Let's do 2,000. All right. Cool. That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select everything. I'm going to copy. I'm going to do what's called copying and compress. I'm going over to Slack. For those of you who haven't been keeping up, I'm going to give you this garbly goop right here. You can take this, you can copy and paste it, you can copy it. And if I go here to back to Max and I say new from clipboard, you now have my Max patch I just made. All right, so for those of you who have Max installed, go ahead and get this Max patch up and running. Okay, and you have a triangle here, but you also have things like this is a sine wave, right? And this is a square wave. You can make whatever you want it to be. That's not how you do that. You have cycles, rectangle waves and sawtooth waves. So you have all sorts of different kind of waves. Don't keep it a saw. Make it something else, or don't make, let's all be unique. Great. And then I'm now going to connect to my router seems to be on the network called Fistful. It's for a project called Fistful of Stars. That's all. All right. All right. So I'm now connected to the network's Fistful, and I would love if you guys could also connect to this if you have a Max patch to connect to Fistful as well. The password is stars123, all lowercase. All right. Just connect to the password that says Fistful.
Fistful.
Yeah. Stars123, all lowercase. I might have to refresh it, or you can manually enter it in. I'm going to switch my phone over to the same network so we can still look at that as well. Stars123. All right, so now my phone's on the same network. Okay, now my phone's back on here. Great. Cool. And so at the very least, if you're not going to do all of that, if you just open up Max and do this UDP receive 8000 and then put this message here, I just want to at least see that. All right. So what I'm going to now do is make this a little bit bigger. All right. So I'm going to receive stuff from my phone. And actually, you guys keep everything the same. I'll make this easier on you by, so I'm going to get my new IP address for myself. Alt, I'm clicking here, and I now know that I'm a 192.168.1.168. So I'm going to adjust my phone accordingly. .168. I do this all the time. All right, so we're done. So I am going to. You keep yours the way yours is. I'm going to open up mine and change it. So I'm going to get from my phone. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a UDP send to my localhost to my computer on port 8001 now. Okay. So what I need from you guys is I want you guys to look right here find out what your IP address is. On Windows, you do ipconfig underneath the command prompt. And I want you to start telling me what your IP addresses are. Somebody just yell it out. 109. So you'll have to tell me the last 3 digits now that I have it written in. So somebody else tell me the last 3 digits. 178.
134.
134. All right. Anyone else? 165. Anyone else? All right. You can, you know. Mm-hmm. 134. Oh. Am I missing somebody's? Okay, so I'm going to set it to 4 computers. That's fine. And I'm also sending it to myself. So going back to the TouchOSC app over here. Done. All right, and
Windows, would it just be the IP
D4, yes. So I'm now sending, if you guys are UDP receiving on 8001, you should be getting Bill and Fred.
And that's all working because you guys are on the same router.
Yeah. So I'm not hearing my symphony. You got it? Go louder.
Oh,
So also what would be fun would be taking the scale number and don't tell me what you're going to do, just instead of the 2000,
okay.
make it some other number. I'm changing mine. You keep yours the same, but I'm going to make mine something arbitrary. You can't even really see it. Great. And now, all right. This is a network protocol. All right. So that's great, but we're not. This is not 9. So what are we doing? I just wanted to show you guys that now we have a router. I can get 250 VR installations going at the same time. So let's put this stuff on Unreal, and let's start connecting my phone to Unreal and to this fan, so that we can actually have interactive stuff. We can get your OpenBCI in over OSC. We can get your heart rate in over OSC. We can get a connect in over OSC. We can send in all this data over in Unreal. So how do we do that? Well, it's a plugin. And the plugin, if you go to the demos, you appear to be offline. Okay, I'm going to switch over real quick. So we can all switch over right now, back to NYU or whatever. Go to the demos. Demos. There you go. Oh, look at that. Somebody's pre-compiled you guys some plugins for today. That was really nice of you. Thanks, Todd. Okay, so we have Mac and Windows for Unreal versions 4.14 and Unreal 4.15. Here's a repository for you of pre-compiled plugins. Great. I'm going to be using 4.15 for Mac, so I'm going to download this one. I know you can't be previewed, so let me download you. So I'm going to download. And then I have OSC for Mac. So let's fire up the old, I can't open applications Epic Games Launcher because somebody else is using it. Always something, right? All right, well then we'll just say, I'll just open up one from before. All right, Unreal projects that are already, I think this is week 10 from last year. Let's do World in a While. Okay, great. So this project is already made. You guys can make a fresh project. It doesn't have to be a C++ project. It could be a regular Blueprint project. But what we have to do is make a plugin folder. So plugins. And inside the plugins folder, we're going to take this OSC stuff. All right, OSC. So OSC right here is going to go into my plugins folder, and I'm going to open up the project. Oh shoot, that's a 414 project. Yeah, sorry, stop. Nope. We will. Stupid. One second. So as we've, I think I went through before in this class. This, as you can see right here, these, yes, thank you. I know I don't want it open. Are just text files. So I'm gonna go to my services and switch Unreal version, and I'm just gonna say, please open up in 415 now. Thank you. Cool. Yay! I remember that day. All right, let's make a new map. New level. We're going to make it in this wonderful world, though. And let us, oh, first of all, let's check the plugins. We have a plugins thing right there. We go all the way down to the bottom. It says OSC is enabled. We now have our first plugin in Unreal. We're going to be sending live data from my phone, and we're going to go straight into Unreal and do awesome stuff with it. I also want to point out that this is a locally saved plugin. Remember I had different versions and different ones for Mac and Windows. So right now this is loaded in the project, but if you're working with a friend and they're working on a Mac and you're working on a PC, you can actually take the plugin and not put it in the project. You can put the plugin in your engine version, and then it'll just automatically be part of, in the same way all these are part of your engine, they're built in and not part of your project. It'll be, for instance, if I go to, oh my goodness, it's like shared Epic Games. Here's my version 4.15. If I go to my engine and my plugins, and I put OSC right here, it's available for every project I do always with this engine version. And we can do that one-on-one if you want to get into that stuff. But back to my project. Let's make do some stuff. So going into our map, and we're going to make a blueprint. And that blueprint is going to be called BP Light. Actor. BP Light. And open it up. And there it is. It's a little default scene root. It's just a little sphere to let me know where it is so that I can drag it around in my world and know where it is. So see, there's my scene root. I don't really want it. I'm just going to replace it with a light. So let's go ahead and add a light. Here's add a component, the light component. Light's right here. Point light. Great. If I drag it up, it'll kind of just like delete it. There we go. Just a point light. Hanging out. Gesundheit. And then let's start doing some OSC stuff. Add a component, and I'm going to add in the component of OSC. It's OSC receiver. It's not visible or anything like that. What it's going to be is like an event. It's going to be just like a key press. It's going to be a red function. So if I right-click on there, what is the event? I want to receive OSC. All right. Great. That sounds fantastic. And I want to receive it on, and I told you it was an internet protocol because it has on internet addresses. And those addresses we have are Fred and Bill. And then we have data, which we're getting float numbers out. Okay? So what we need to do is parse out both Fred and Bill, different names, and then make the numbers do something. Okay? So we're doing two things. We're sending 1 and 0 on and off. So I'm going to turn this light on and off. And then I have a range of numbers, and that's going to be like a light intensity. I'm going to make the light fade from my phone. All right. So what's the address? The address equals a name, and we have two of those, right? We have Fred, and then we also have Bill. And I don't know any Freds or Bills. That's just the names are changed to protect the innocent. Yeah, yeah, I did that back when I made the app. I think the one that we were trying to make together, I couldn't get loaded. It was called Go and Stop and Numbers. I was just messing around. I did Fred and Bill. So this everything's color coded. Purple is equals a name or a string. Red, we see right here, this function is red, but red numbers are booleans. They're offs and ons. They're offs and ons. So they're zeros and ones. So I want to use this boolean as an if statement. I want to say if it's Fred, send me some numbers, and if it's Bill, send me some numbers. And an if statement inside of Unreal is called a branch. What it is an execution that goes through that takes a condition. That's a boolean. So I'm saying if Fred is true, send some numbers. We're going to send out floats. So if Fred is some numbers, send out some data. And we're going to, what it's called popping a float. Pop a float. There we go, pop float, or pop int, or pop bool, or pop string. And I am going to say, actually no, which one is off on? 1 second. Off on is Bill, right? Oh, they're on different internets. Off on is on Bill. 1 second. All right. Anyway, back to the thing. Off on is on Bill. Okay, so this is fine. Fred's going to send out float numbers, and we're going to take this light, and we want to set the intensity. So I'm going to look for a function called setting intensity. Makes sense to me, right? So take the point light out into the world, and we're going to set intensity. Yep, it is what it does. That sounds great. So set the intensity of the light. And then for Bill, I don't really, it's just the off and on, so I don't even care about numbers. I just want to say, if it's Bill, turn it off and on. So I'm going to make another branch and kind of do that. If it's not Fred, if it's Bill, just toggle visibility. Turn it off and on. Great. Under my project settings, if I go all the way to the bottom, I just want to see where I'm receiving it on, and this is the port I need to send it to. So I need to send to port 8000. Okay? All right. And let's take a look at it. There it is. There's our light. And if I hold down Alt and I drag, and I go, and I can have a few of them, and all of them are connected to OSC. Great. Make sure my phone's in the right network, and we'll take this for a spin. Well, oh, there it goes. Took a little while. Go back to Max real quick, and make sure I am sending on port 8000 to here. So I'm actually going to be sending it directly into Unreal. I'm going to bypass Max. So let's just see if the off and on works. Nope, that's cool. 1 second. Live demos are fun. Yeah, I think that I'm already taking up the port. So let's go ahead and take the max patch, save it. We'll open it up later. And let's go back to Unreal. Okay, let's use Max as a bridge real quick. I'm gonna take my phone to make sure I'm sitting on port 8001. Let's make sure we're still getting data from the app. Okay, so Max is getting new UDP receive on port 8001, and let's make sure we're still getting numbers. No, see, that's a good problem-solving solution right there. What network are you on? Oh, I switched it over here, 8001. My phone's going 8001. Unreal's doing 8000. Yeah. Let's just see real quick on the right network. All right, NYU. NYU. Oh, let's do the fiscal thing. I'll go to my other one. Oh, it's my send. Okay, sorry, it's my app problem. I'm gonna go back to my own private network real quick, where I have the IPs already addressed. Okay, because I wasn't sending it to the right IP for my phone. I'm making mistakes so you don't have to. All right, and it's 168. 1.168. Great. On 8001, UDPC 8001. Fantastic. And let's undo. Do. Binding to a port again. Message. There we go. I had to wake up. Okay, fantastic. Really quickly, I'm going to make what I already did. I'm going to route them out. And I have Fred and Bill. And the only reason I'm doing this is, and then I have a new UDP send on my local host to port 8000 now. So I'm receiving 8001 and I'm sending an 8002 Unreal. And all I want to do is I'm going to keep Bill the way it is. And Fred, I want to scale it because if I scale it from 0 to 1, the intensity is not going to be there. So let's make sure this works first. Okay. Going back to Unreal. There we go. Data flow. All right, let's take a look at it. Toggle visibility. Let's save getting data. So we saw it. If it's Bill, go in there. And if it's Fred, go in there. Oh, I didn't connect Fred yet. If it's Bill, go in there. If it's Fred, go in there. All right. Sometimes the simplest things are hard to do. Let us just not worry about the phone anymore and just send so variables in Max are $signs. So I'm going to say Fred is a $sign and Bill is going to be its own $sign. Fred, and the message is going to be Bill. Did I do that here? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's just send some numbers in here then. So I have a toggle for Bill, and I'm going to have integers for Fred. and they're all going to go over to my computer, to Unreal. So one little trick I'm going to show you guys, and it's documented here on the screen recording, is if you go into, I don't know if you noticed, if you have like email open and Unreal's playing, like Unreal will get really choppy. It's like designed to use less CPU when it's it's back-facing application. We're going to turn that off because we're going to be using a lot of different software. So if I go into my editor preferences, and under miscellaneous up here, it just says use less CPU in background. I'm going to turn that off. And I'll show you where that is later on if you can't find it. Search for it. Great. So now I'm going to play. And let's come over and take a look at the data. Okay. Okay, that seems to be working. And then that seems to be working over there. So let's see what it looks like. So I'm turning lights off and on over. So right now I could do anything. This could be computer vision, this could be whatever it's getting from max. And then I'm setting intensity manually, right? So this could be quite literally, I could say new easy audio to digital. So that looks like a microphone. Great. I want to look at my amplitude. So it's called, I'm going to look at the peaks of the amplitude every 33 milliseconds. And let's see what that is. So I can see that the sound of my voice is this loud. Okay. And that's going to like 0.2. So I'm going to scale that up. So new scale from 0 to 0.2 is going to be from 100 to 10,000. Okay? So ideally, my voice is going to be driving the intensity. So there you go. So now I have an audio reactive something really quickly inside of Unreal. So we're connecting everything together. This can be my phone. This can be my voice. This can be, whatever stuff. This is how we get data in. It's one of the easiest ways. There's just plugins for Arduino. There's plugins for other things as well. There even is an OpenBCI plugin. It's $175. So OSC is free, and it's ready for you to do. Max is one way of doing it. There's OSC plugins for processing. There's OSC for all the different creative coding applications. And it's really effective for being able to do stuff. So what can we do with these buttons? Well, the most classic thing, and what I really want you guys to do, is let's start and stop our installations and have a reset button on our phone, so we can just be hands-free, standing next to these things, and like go. Oh, I don't see anything. Oh, I'll reset it for you. And quite literally, we can make like a spherical rendering app, and then we can have play on the video be on this phone, and then just like I did right here, we can send it out to 250 people, and we can have 250 people synchronized on your VRs watching the same experience. So that's kind of the power of this. The main thing to note is that this only sends to one computer, and then that one computer then can propagate it out to all the other computers. So that's why we always have like a show controller computer that's doing stuff like scaling values, and it's able for us to visibly do stuff. And what's cool about the Max is that it has audio components, so Max will then send out audio to the butt-shaking chair, and then it can also do projections, so then you can have projections that are interactive while people are waiting in line to see your piece. You can see your logo, and you can switch between slideshows, other kind of stuff. So, that being said, we're gonna turn on a fan now. All right. So, I'm gonna send OSE from Unreal now to Max to the fan. This fan is on what's called a power switch tail. It's like 2 relays. It's $25. You have 2 or 3 of these in the ER to check out. And all it is, it's in between the wall and the fan itself. The fan has a hardware switch. It's already turned on to level 2. It's just not getting any power right now. It only works with things with hardware switches like clamp lights. We use the clamp light really easy because it has a physical switch that's already being on. So think about that when you're thinking about what do you want to control. Or it'd be hilarious if we just have, like, we make a run for box fans at the target or whatever, and we like own them all. All right. So I want it to be that I'm gonna send out. Stop. I just want to do a giant collision in the center. This collision could be when we reach the edge of our cliff in our experience, or we reach a window in our experience. I'm gonna make this guy super huge. Can't miss him. 10. Oh, maybe that's a little bit too big. How about 5, 5, 5. There we go. Can't miss it. And then we're going to say do a level blueprint with it selected. I'm going to say add an event for a trigger box, and that event is when I overlap. Great. So when I overlap that box, what do I want to do? I want to send OSC. So let's see if there's a function for sending OSC. Send OSC. Well, that's great. There's a button for sending OSC. That's fantastic. I'm going to send this over an address called fan. And then I need to put that data in there, and I'm going to basically just do a bool. So I'm going to say push bool. And the value is going to be a 1. I'm going to have it checked. All right? Sending out an OSC. All right. That quickly. So when I hit that trigger box, I'm going to send out fan. And I'm going to print the string to see if it's indeed happening. Print string, and it'll say fan. Whoa. There we go. All right. Let's see if this works first of all before we worry about it. All right. Fan. You see the fan? Fan. Fan. All right. All right. You saw one other button on there, or one other thing on here that says target index. This is like, I can send this out to all the different computers too. I can have my Unreal going to all your computers, and I'm doing target index 0. Let's look at the project settings again, and we see that, oh yeah, we can have infinite amount of different send targets, and mine is going to be 172.0.0.1. That's the same thing as localhost, just so you know, 172.0.0.1. And I'm going to use a new port because I think all my other ports are getting dirty. So let's make a new port, 8003. We haven't used that one before. All right, I'm going to save all.
So you said Unreal send targets, and I was like, oh, we send all this stuff on this one.
Yeah. So I'm still receiving Fred and Bill on port 8000, and I'm sending fan on 8003. So we can send and receive with this plugin. So I want to bring Max to the forefront so I can make sure that this connectivity is happening. So I'm just going to find a clear space. There we go. Right here's fine. New UDP. Oops. New UDP receive. And it was on 8003. And let's just dump it out and see if we... I'm not going to put anything there. I'm just going to read it and see if we get anything at all. Okay. I'm going to kind of put this over to the side. All right. Computer's super laggy right now. It's funny. Oh, fan. Okay. So it's sent out once. Let's make sure that we see that we get unique instances. So I'm going to put a little bang here, and it'll light up every time I do it. All right. Yeah, see? Very, very hidden right there. Right there. It is the fact that I'm doing new instances of fan every time. Whoa! Oh my goodness. There you go. A new instance of fan. New instance of fan. So you got fan 1. Great. So to drive the Arduino, we already have the code on here. I'm going to show you where I got the Arduino code from. I just copied and pasted. I just let's do NIU. I searched for power switch tail and Arduino. and then an example came up that drove it for me. Didn't do any coding on my own. Power switch tail Arduino. And it was an example from Space Brew. I don't know if you guys have used Space Brew. It's like a socket data thing. I'll put this a link to this on Slack for you guys. Slack attack. On week 10. And then the code for Max to send to Arduino, I got just from Arduino. It is in file examples dimmer, communication dimmer. It is down here. Remember this stuff? Here's that gobbledygook I made you guys learn. You take it and you copy it. And then in Max, you say paste from clipboard. And then as long as your port is the right port, I think I had to change my port to port B. This just works. I just can put a toggle and it just will work. So I already have one that's receiving OSC. So let me open up the one that I had opened earlier. Open recent, and it was called serial sender. Great. I already have the Arduino code loaded on, so I don't need to worry about doing Arduino either. And I don't know if you guys just saw that, but Max crashed. Just get used to it. I'll keep it open for right now. Come on, Max. Okay. Oh, thank you for covering my work. Yes, please. Yes, come on. Fantastic. There's all the stuff I just did. That's fantastic. I also want to get my serial one. Open recent patcher, and that's the serial sender. Boom. So all it's doing is I added the UDP receive from my phone, and we're going to be now doing it actually from Unreal. And I'm sending it on fan. And this should just turn on the fan. All right. And let's see what else I want to do. I think it's going to start on, but we'll see. I'll move the player start. How about we do that? All right. I need to see what I think I'm on port B now. Good thing you guys already took physical computing, huh? All right. And yes, I know we didn't do any VR today. But this is also fun. Okay, so Unreal is also open. Great. And I'm going to do the player start back so I'm not inside the box to begin with. Or I move my trigger box over. There we go. So I reach the edge, is what we're going to do. When I reach the edge, and peer out over the edge. Fan. Oh, I need to see if I'm receiving the data. Okay. Let's bring it over here. Whoa. Whoa there. All right. And it got turned on. So that's good. It's probably just my serial port. A. Oh, no. It would be that I unplugged the thing. So many moving parts, guys. It's fun, right? Good thing I already showed you it worked, right? So my story is about being traveling alone, and I am on like a mountain path, and I see a beautiful vista, and I walk over to the beautiful vista, and I look down, and I say, "Look at the wind coming up," and it hits my face. All right, so that's super cool, right? This is super fun. This works. So the haptic chair would just be like audio. And I want to get into the project update, so maybe we'll do haptics next week, and that'll be. I just still want to do some interactions with controllers and stuff, but I know we're running out of weeks. But yes, we got to the edge, and now we turned off because we left the edge, and now let's go back and look at that vista that we had. I think it's windy over there. Oh yeah, it's really windy over here. So I think Max's slogan is "Connect Everything," and we're connecting everything now, guys. This could be a printer. This could be a whatever. We can do some stuff with this. This could be lights. This could be this could trigger. I don't know. Like just throw out ideas. I want to show you this stuff now because now you can think about maybe you can really shape your narrative around this kind of stuff. This can and then audio will just be over a speaker wire to the subwoofer, and I'll show that maybe next week. All right. Okay, so I know there's like a lot of like, wow, I don't know what, that was a lot of things. Um, it's all screen recorded. I know there's a lot of things. So I mean, the questions were like maybe like, can you do that all over again? But if anyone has like maybe a more specific question that I might not have talked about at enough length for you guys to have a working knowledge of this, let me know. Maybe you want to think about it. Maybe we can keep this. Maybe if anyone wants to talk about this in the general channel of Slack, so we can all like maybe learn from this because this is like. I mean, this is something that I'm just kind of like invented for myself this week. I don't know if anyone knows a better way of doing this. This was just fun. And we're going to take a break and we'll come back and we'll do project updates. If you guys make sure you put all that stuff up on your team channel or the week 10 channel, general channel, whatever you want, as long as we can do it. And